什么？你在说什么啊？你到底是谁啊？
这是个好问题啊！让我们来讨论这个重要的话题吧。我是谁？我到底是怎么学习中文的呢？这点我可以告诉你，这一切都不像在大学学习的方式。举个例子啊，一开始我去商店买东西的时候，我没有办法告诉店员我要买什么，我只能用手指比手画脚的点每样我要买的东西。可是今天我可以用中文告诉他们我要买什么的时候，他们都听懂了。我现在将带你们踏上这段学习的旅程，我们马上出发咯。Brief personal background. I was whisked around the globe and moved countries countless times during my developmental years and after high school. Colombia, Sweden, USA, Peru, the UK. I have lived in all of these countries. No wonder I was confused. But confusion made way for clarity. What? So, I started my language career as a 10-year-old reading The Lord of the Rings. No, not that one! That one! In the following years, I read the books over and over and was fascinated by the Balrog, foreign languages in it. And when I say foreign, I mean... Hanmathonenen. Hanmathondechai. Ahnostonet. Willis. I'm one of those pesky persons who actually like grammar. Just throwing that out there. Let's move on. Because I've done a ton of immersion in my life too. Since I've been living all over the damn place, I had mixed results. Additionally, I've met a ton of people who have lived in a, for them, foreign country. Did they speak the local language? Well... So, what are my conclusions from all this jumping around? Well, here goes. Stop hating on linguists. Immersion is not useless, but it is unnecessary. Native accents are all about identity. It's fine to have an identity that aligns with a mixed accent, like me. And I wouldn't want to be like me. Linguistic knowledge can be helpful for language learners. If you don't think so, it's probably because you don't understand that you're so good at learning languages from experience that you've already internalized the linguistic knowledge just in a non-formal way. A description of what your brain is doing would still sound a hell of a lot like linguistics, dude. So stop saying it's worthless or whatever. Doesn't have to take 45 years to get anywhere. No need to hold yourself back. Go get it. You can use textbooks if you want to. If you have a thing for them or, that's fine. But you don't have to. Oh, and yeah, I also figured out how to learn about any language without going to school, without buying stacks of expensive textbooks, and without moving to... where do people speak English again? So how do you do that then? Just tell us already. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is how I learned Mandarin. I met some people. I got tired of the snow. I went on vacation. I was invited to a wedding. I was invited to a road trip. I finally got the hint and fucking moved to Taiwan. So, in the first year of being immersed in Taiwan, I didn't learn anything really actually, because at this time I hadn't decided whether I wanted to stay or not or whatever, and I was a photographer and on a tourist visa looking for a way to incorporate an online business and... Anyway, so once I got to meet some more people and finally decided that Taiwan rocks, yeah, I sure took my time, yeah. Then I finally started leveraging all my vast knowledge of space and time language acquisition that my life had granted me. This is what I did. I did some preliminary research. No. Don't be scared now. First, I looked up the sounds to see what kind of challenges it was going to bring. I made a whole video about this that I link somewhere on the screen if I can figure out how to do that. Long story short, this, and this. Secondly, I can read the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is super for describing sounds, but I'm not a fan of how it marks tones. And no one who's not a linguist uses it. I needed a faster way to look up the pronunciation of Chinese words when all I had was a character and no clue how to say it. Enters pinyin. So Google pinyin, browse the pinyin table, and listen to some example words to connect the spelling to the sounds. Ma, wa. Nice. Let's keep going. Third, checking the grammar. What should I expect? Extensive congruence between different word classes? Hundreds of verb endings? An intricate case system for nouns and adjectives? Well, it looks like none of this. This sounds good. This makes me suspicious. So, some additional Googling later, and okay, I see. The grammar of Mandarin seems to mostly have to do with word order and stringing sentences together in the right way. Also, there's these things called classifiers. Whatever the heck those are. Okay, now what? Well, I'll tell you. I got a frequency list of words. Words and characters are different. The 1000 most common ones, and I practiced with it using spaced repetition every day for 3 or 4 weeks until I had gone through the entire list. While I was doing this, I also googled some beginner stories. I mean the really easy ones. The meaningly easy. Takes for 5-year-olds, not grown-ups. But that's the point of it. Pride will only hold you back. Just get over it. Embrace your inner child and get going. The stories are really the true key here, since they put everything in context and you'll be able to pick up both words and grammar. Simple as those words and that grammar may be. The spaced repetition drill was more to get me used to the writing system since I want to focus on understanding the story while I'm reading. I spent some time finding websites that provided both text and audio so I could both read and listen to the same text. This is what I did. I focused on finding a text I found interesting because I knew that that's the only way I could keep my attention. Afterwards, since I was learning the traditional characters, I copied the simplified text into an online simplified to traditional converter. Sometimes the website had a button that allows you to toggle between simplified and traditional, but when that doesn't work, I just used the converter. Now, I would read the story text over and over and mix my reading with listening to the narration.
不在家，我和弟弟妹妹。
This interweaving of reading and listening is especially important for Chinese languages written with characters, because it helps you to learn the words even if you don't remember the characters at first glance. This was basically what I did for the first month. I made a rough weekly schedule to help me make sure that I put enough time into both word and character repetition, reading, and listening. Since I was living in Taiwan at the time, I did my daily basic interactions in Mandarin as well, but that quickly becomes repetitive. During this time, most of my acquisition happened from reading and listening. I kept doing this for a couple more months, increasing the difficulty level of my material step by step. I never used any textbook for this, but rather I let my intuition guide me. Stories for 10-year-olds are more advanced than stories for 5-year-olds and so on. After that follows adapted text such as stories in easy Mandarin or Mandarin graded readers. The next step is teenage fiction and then young adult fiction. Every once in a while, I like to push myself to read at the limit of my ability to really stretch my ability to understand. This is of course much more challenging, but the rewards when I push through a text are also greater. And then, there suddenly came a point where I didn't have to keep looking up every other character in the text. Finally, enough of them had got stuck in long-term memory for me to read more freely. Easy text still, mind. But at the time, it made me feel like a fucking superhero. Of course, at this point I assume everyone I was talking with in daily life pretty much guessed what I was saying based on context. Just kidding. I actually know exactly when they didn't understand me because my friends are just like that. They will let you know when you're sounding like a freaking moron in great detail. I don't mean pedagogically. They'll go, huh? Huh? What? Huh? Yeah, some friends right. Love you guys. Anyway, forget about them. This video is about me. Yes. I kept increasing the difficulty of the text I was reading and listening to, and after 6 months or so, I started listening to podcasts. No, not because I understood them. They were still way above my level, but I needed to push myself. I chose a couple of episodes that I liked and translated the words I didn't know. Or I translated as much as I had the energy to translate. Those 45-minute manuscripts are long, man. And then I listened to them again and again, and again. And again, you get it. At this point, the coronavirus had hit the world like a brick wrapped in lemon slices, but without the fucking lemons. And the whole situation made my upcoming visa renewal a bit iffy. So I moved back to Europe, learned how to buy Chinese books online, and waited for the vaccines to roll out. Which they did. A week after my second jab, I was starving for some good old Mandarin conversation. So I launched a language cafe and started chatting away. For access to my online Mandarin Swedish language cafe, click the link in the description. 差不多就2年半左右以前，我决定要会讲这个语言，不只是会说，而且呢还要会读跟写。老实说，这个决定拉长了我学习的时间，整整多加了1年的时间。目前我可以认识好几千个字，而且也可以手写一些中文字。我的天哪，需要很多的时间塞进你的大脑里呀！如果我没有学习读跟写，可以省很多的时间啊。但是这样子我就没有办法读我朋友发布在社交软体上面的贴文。我目前的方式是每个礼拜6制作语言交换，加上每个礼拜3和我的学习伙伴做线上交流。从星期1到星期5，我也读我所有朋友在社交软体上面的贴文，而且还听中文广播。对了，还有这个，我同学间也读《Harry Potter》。好啦，这就是我学习的方法。如果我可以，你也可以。我们下次见咯。